Okay, so let's start today's session, guys. Today's session is on estimation of work, how to estimate your work in Agile and how to do it. And while doing estimation, which kind of techniques you may use. If I said a truth, guys, there are many estimation techniques are available on in the industry and on Google also, but I'll specifically chosen only 7 techniques which I will provide you here because time is not permitting me to provide you rest of the techniques also, the details about the rest of the techniques also. So let's start the session, guys. It's a warm welcome from my side. My name is Gajanan, and today's session is on estimation of work. So what is today's agenda? So basically our agenda's first point is why do we need estimations while working? How many types of estimations are available? Uh, what are story points? Where to start your story pointing, and what is the velocity and predictability? So these are some points. I'll provide you information on these areas today. So first start with why do we need estimation? So, guys, giving a very simple example before saying something on estimation, why do we need estimation? So, I'm leaving from airport and I'm reaching home. Now, if I met a layman person or the person who is new in my city, and if I told that person that I just came from airport, so that person doesn't know uh, how long the airport is from my destination and how far it is and how much I traveled from airport to home. So this is the reason I have to provide some specific information while saying I am reaching home from airport. So specific information means I may say that I am just coming from airport and it's a 60 kilometers traveling I done, or maybe after 1 hour journey from airport to home I just reach home. So at that time maybe that person analyze or understand how long journey I took from airport to home. So this is why we should provide a estimation, guys. This is a unit basically, and we have to provide the information in unit. In your day-to-day life, in your regular life also, you guys are doing a very good job in organizations, in technology, with your team members. You guys are doing a massive job, and everybody is specialized in their own areas. But if I meet lot many peoples in T system or Deutsche Telekom, and if they told me that I done this job, that job, maybe I doesn't have that context what exactly that job is, how difficult or how easy that job is, and how much effort we need to put to complete that particular job. So I don't know. But if the person told me that I done 40 story points job or 30 story point job or Excel size t-shirts, Excel t-shirt size job in past few days, then I may realize, yeah, the job is quite tricky and quite hard, which is done by this person. So maybe I'll ask that person how you done that job. Are that job is very hard? What exactly you do when you face some sort of situations, so on. So my communication is started because I understand those units, and these units basically understand by our management and client peoples also. They doesn't know about technology much. They doesn't know the depth or the hardness of technology and the work which you guys are doing. But when they says how much work you done in past few sprint, maybe past 3 sprint, or maybe in your last sprint, at that time if we provide the information with unit, then it may easy for them to understand. And this is the reason estimation comes into the picture. Now there are different types of estimation. If you guys attended my previous session, I had given example in one of my previous session about liter, kilogram, meter and kilometer. So using the same example here also, so if I want to provide the weightage of my work, what hard work my team has done, and how we completed that particular work. So within a less words or within a less lines, if I want to provide this complete result to my management or to my client, at that time I have to use the estimations. Now there are lot many types available in estimations, but here I am chosen only 7 to 8 estimation types which are commonly used in our industrial area. So first is t-shirt sizing, sprint poker, 3-point methods, affinity estimations, relative mass evaluation, dot voting, maximum allowable size, big, uncertain, and small. So these are 8 estimation types, guys, which we will discuss today. So first is t-shirt size. So what exactly t-shirt size is? So if you visited in the mall and if you go in a clothes section, there are lot many t-shirts are available with fancy color, fancy designs. Every t-shirt has a different size, and we when we purchase a t-shirt, at that time we find which t-shirt is fitted to me. Is it a small size, large size, medium size, extra small size or extra large size? And based on this size we chose the t-shirt. These t-shirts are chosen with XS, S, M. M means medium, S means small, XS means very small, L mean large, XL mean more than larger, XXL mean bigger size. So by this way, guys, we find the t-shirt. Now when we chose a t-shirt, at that time we first try the t-shirt, which t-shirt is fitted to me, and based on that we purchase the t-shirt. Now if we use the same situation or same technique in our software industry also, or in our estimation techniques also, so when we are discussing about the requirements, when product owner provide the entire description, detailed information about the card or about the story, about the use case, about the user story, at that time team member have to find out where exactly this requirement is fitted. Is it fitted in a medium size? Is it fitted in a large size? Is it fitted in a small size? Where exactly it is fitted? Now here are some parameters, guys, when we are fitting this particular requirement in t-shirt sizing. So first parameter is how much work I need to do. Is it a tricky work? Is it a hard work? Is it a common work, or is it a regular work I have to do? Second point is how much time do I need to complete this work? Now here I am giving some sort of examples. Um, Client provide me a requirement that they need to change a functionality. Maybe this change of functionality is very easy task for developer, because developers needs to just make a tailoring in 2 or 3 lines of code, and the entire functionality will change. But the problem is this functionality called from 10 different location, and from every location it gives some sort of different data or different result. Now this is a tricky situation. After changing the functionality at one place or at a common place, if I am calling that functionality at 10 different areas, then I have to find out, is it provide the same result or is it providing a different result? Because when client says that they just want to make some modification in the functionality, at that time they had given the parameters, like where which result they required from this functionality. So am I getting that particular result or not? So this is a something tricky situation. So this is the reason maybe I am saying I need a small time. to fix this functionality, but to analyze or to verify this functionality on 10 different area, I need more time. So this is the reason I am putting this particular requirement in a larger size. If I just want to change the functionality, that's it. And if whatever the result the functionality is giving me, that result is correct, and I need a very small time for that, then maybe I am fitting that particular same requirement in a smaller t-shirt sizing. So by this way, guys, you can bifurcate it. Now, when I am doing these things, as a product owner, I am providing the entire details about the card or about the user story. At that time, I ask team member using t-shirt sizing estimation, you have to find out where exactly this particular card is fitted. Now everybody has something in their mind, so as per their thinking, they put that particular requirement in different t-shirt size. Now line by line ask everyone where exactly they fitted, and here you got an opportunity to ask your team members why they think that this particular requirement is fitted in that particular t-shirt sizing. Maybe some people say, some team member says it's fitted in a large size, some team member says it's fitted in a medium size, some team member says we don't know where exactly it fitted, so we are confused, and they just provide a question mark. So based on this information, you can communicate with them, you can ask them what questions they have, what understanding they have, and on what basis they are thinking that this particular requirement is fitted in this particular t-shirt sizing. At the end of discussion, you may find the exact t-shirt where that particular requirement is fitted, because somebody have some sort of confusion. Maybe that confusion will resolve with the answer of other team members questions, and by this way you can resolve all the queries confusions, and then you can find the exact t-shirt size. Now where exactly this technique is used? So t-shirt sizing is a very great technique, guys, in agile methodology, and when if you want to use it, then you need to arrive at only rough estimation size. Use it to filter out your stories which are too big and should be broken down in a further stages, like in a smaller pieces if the story is too big, or use it when you are picking it from the project that are already in a larger size. So giving a simple example, client says I want to fit a search engine in my website, but my website have 100 pages and search engine should appear on each and every page and provide different results. So requirement is very small, but if I am estimating it, for me this requirement is too big, because for every page I have to set up a search engine, and as per the page I have to provide the result. So this is a larger size of requirement, and I have to break it down in a smaller pieces. So in this area you can use this t-shirt sizing technique, guys. Now next technique is sprint poker. Now,
One question,
yeah, please.
Gagan. Sorry for interrupting. One question. I just want to understand. When should we do this estimation in the grooming call or even before that?
You can do all of the estimations in your grooming call only.
So requirement is coming from the client, but it must first be the estimation of done is accomplished, and then you put the requirement in the grooming call to do full effort estimate.
So I'm just recalling my back session. So requirements gathered from client, requirement has gathered by product owner or business analyst person. This person break it down this requirement in a smaller pieces with definition of done, a definition of ready, and acceptance criteria with detailed description. Now once this list is ready, product owner make a prioritization for this list. For each and every story or card, product owner provided some sort of priorities like urgent, extra urgent, high priority, middle priority, trivial priority, like that. And we finalize only those requirements in our product grooming which are on higher or urgent level of priority. If we do not have urgent and higher priority requirement, then we are moving on medium and trivial level of priorities. So this is basically a way. Now when you are doing your grooming session, at that time, in a grooming session, maybe in a 4 hours grooming session or maybe in a 8 hours grooming session, you are only able to discuss 4 to 5 requirements. If you are running 4 hour session, then maybe you are discussing only 2 to 3 requirements. If you are running 8 hour sessions, then maybe you are discussing only 4 to 5 requirements, which are a detailed discussion. Now once your detailed discussion is done on particular requirement, any requirement, if I'm saying I'm discussing with first requirement, I'm giving the details of first requirement to my all team members. Once I had given the details of first requirement to my team members, then I should know how much they understand and where exactly they are fitting this requirement in terms of estimation. So this is an opportunity where I am providing them a estimation techniques, and I am asking them, now you have to tell me where exactly this requirement is fitted, because it's a job of technical team members that they have to provide the estimations. It's not a job of scrum master or product owner. Now here, based on understanding, because if I have 10 members in my team, every member's understanding may be different. So I want to know what exactly team is understand and where exactly team is. And before starting a sprint, before starting a actual technical work, I want to gather them all on a single platform. So this is the reason I'm asking them, provide me estimation in t-shirt sizing where exactly this requirement is fitted. Now they gives me different view, different questions or queries, and different reason why that particular requirement is fitted in a different t-shirt. Now here is a discussion point where I am going to ask them couple of questions. Why this particular requirement is fitted in this particular t-shirt? What exactly you think? Is it hard? Is it soft or easy? Are you thinking any sort of blockers, any sort of dependencies, or any sort of risk? That's why you are fitting this requirement in this particular t-shirt or what? So based on this question, a team is open up. They started discussing and they provided their views. If one person says that I am thinking this requirement is too difficult because I have to do so and so work. Maybe second person who is specialized in technology, that person say you don't need to do that. If you just follow these 1 2 3 steps, your requirement will fulfill. So you don't need to go that way. So by this way, here I got a solution. Here every team members got a solution that if we follow these 1 2 3 steps, then this particular requirement we can fulfill. So t-shirt sizing, if previously the t-shirt sizing is larger, then maybe after this discussion t-shirt sizing goes on a smaller. Or if giving the same example but in a reverse manner, if my team member says this requirement is very simple, if I just follow these 2 3 steps, I will complete this requirement. At this time second team member says no, this particular requirement is called from 10 different areas at a time. So if you change at one place, it may broke at other 10 areas. So you have to verify those 10 areas also. So you have better work than this also. Maybe your work is very small, but you have to check the result on that 10 other locations also. So here are some tricky areas comes which that person has not analyzed, and in a discussion these areas come out. from their minds, from their experiences, or from their knowledge. And based on this, maybe if previously my requirement was fitted in a smaller t-shirt size, that may goes in a larger t-shirt size. That I need to put less effort to fix this requirement, but to analyze the result of this requirement in entire product, maybe I need some more time, and this may take some more time. By this way, we can judge and we can finalize where exactly that particular requirement is fitted. If the requirement is too big, in that case, we analyze that this requirement is not fitted in one sprint or not able to done by one person. So we have to break it down. Now again, here is an option that you have to put this option in front of team members, that they have to provide how to break it, and in which how many parts we have to break it. In first part, what should we consider? In second part, what should we consider? In third part, what should we consider? And who is going to create this task? Guys, Agile always says you should not do other person's job, but you can help them. If that person is busy, on the behalf of them, you can do that job, but that may be only help. That is not your part. So this is the reason, to break particular story, to break particular epic, or to break particular requirement in a smaller pieces is a job of technical team members, because they have to perform their work as per those tasks and subtasks. So you have to ask them within how many parts we have to break it down, and in every part what should we consider. Based on their thinkings, one person may note down in which part, how, what exactly the things we will consider, and later on after the meeting, maybe team members who grab that particular requirement or who nominated himself or herself for that particular requirement can get this information, create a task in tooling section, and provide those task lists to product owner, that using this task list I am going to do my work in this particular sprint. I am grabbing first 3 tasks, and next 3 tasks maybe I will continue in my next sprint. By this way, product owner get the estimation as well as how much work we will do in that particular time frame, which we called as a sprint, and how much time, how much work is remain, which we need to push in next sprint. That information also got the product owner. Okay guys, so we will move in our next estimation technique, which is a planning poker or sprint poker. So what exactly sprint poker is? So guys, if you know the game poker, it's a game of card, uh, where actually I haven't played any card games because I don't know how to play it. But this is a game of cards, and the name poker we pull from this particular game in Agile. Now what exactly we have to do, and how to play this planning poker in estimation techniques? This you may consider as a game, this you may consider as a estimation technique, or this you may consider as a estimation process. All is same guys. Now what we are doing here, so guys, basically product owner provided few cards to each and every team members. Every card has a particular number, and these numbers are going in a Fibonacci series. Now why Fibonacci series? Because we are estimating in Agile only in a Fibonacci series. And what exactly this Fibonacci series is? So maybe the Fibonacci series is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, and so on. So every card has a particular number. Now product owner provided all the detailed information about the requirement, and product owner asked the team members that you have to show a card to me which have a particular number, where you are giving a weightage. Now before giving a weightage, um, every card number have a specific meaning, and this meaning they already decided in a planning section before starting this planning poker. Maybe if I say I just want to change the label, the text of label, so it's a very easy task. I may be complete within 10 seconds or maybe 20 seconds. So I am giving one number for this particular work because I need a very less time and less effort. Maybe I need to move a particular functionality from bottom to top in a page. So this may be a little tricky job for me because when I'm moving the functionality, at that time I have to create a space on the upper side or at the top side of page, and I have to fill the gap of bottom size from where I am pushing this particular functionality. So I have to fill that gap also. So this may be little tricky for me, but I can do it. And I need maybe 1 hour to complete this job. So for 1 hour, maybe I'm considering two as a Fibonacci series. So likewise, they had given a particular condition for each and every number 1 to 101. So these many cards are available, but in planning poker mostly I seen that only till 41 number the cards are available, like 1 2 3 5 8 13 21 34 and 41. So these many cards are available. These all cards are available in each and every team members. Their job is to hold the card near their chest, and the card number should not be displayed to any other team members. When product owner provided the details about the task or the stories, after that every team member have to think in which in a planning poker series where exactly that particular story or task is fitted, how much time I need to invest in that particular requirement, how much work I have to do, is it a tricky work, is it a uh, easy work, is it a hard work, where exactly, and based on that they have to find out which card is suitable for that, and they have to show that card. Now here is a open challenge for your team members, guys, because every team member have different thinking and they shows a different numbers card. Now you have to start questioning to that person whose number is bigger in an entire team. So maybe if one of a person is showing 13 number card and rest of the team members are showing below 30 numbers card. So I am asking my first question to that person who shows me 13 number card, that why that person is thinking that we have to provide this 13 number to this particular story, and what is hard in this story, and what exactly the blocker in these stories. So you are start asking question to that person, and rest of the team members you can motivate that if that person is in a wrong perception, they have to correct it, they have to provide the solution on this person's situation or this person's questions. By this way you are not only motivating the team members, but you are started finding a proper number where that particular story is fitted. When each and every team member is saying yes, I am accepting this number, say for example 3 number. So if each and every team member says yes, this story is fitted at number 3, because we have good amount of efforts as well as we need good amount of time also, like we need maybe 12 hours to complete this particular functionality or particular requirement, and we need to do little bit hard work also to complete this particular requirement. When all the team members agree on this and they are agree for number 3, you have to put that particular 3 number as an estimation in your tooling data. This is a planning poker method, guys. Now Again, in planning poker, there are few different methods are also available. One is a Fibonacci, second is a modified Fibonacci. In modified Fibonacci, 0.5 is also added. Zero means I'm giving an example, like I just wanted to change the label of text, or maybe just want to remove a particular label from, or maybe change the size of label of particular functionality. So this may require hardly 10 to 15 seconds. So maybe I am giving zero number for this because there are very less effort, very less time. So I do not want to provide any sort of number. So I am giving zero or maybe half for this. For rest of the stories and rest of the work, maybe I am providing 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, likewise numbers. Now, second is the actual work. Uh, Planning poker is also used for actual working hours, like how much time is required to complete that particular functionality. So for this, maybe team members can provide their card as an hour section, like they are showing how much hour is required. Here is a condition, guys, in a planning poker, that if we are working 8 hours per day, so if the work goes more than 8 hours, then maybe you can say that I'm showing 8, I'm showing the card where 8 is displayed, but I need more than this time also. So 8 plus, we consider it as a 8 plus. And if we required more than 16 hours work, in that case we have to break it down in a two pieces. We have to break that particular requirement in a two pieces and make it happens in a 8 hours, so that we can complete those many requirements within a time frame. So this is called actual working planning poker. Power of 2. So power of 2 means just you have to multiply with 2. Say for example, 1 into 2 is 2, 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 2 is 8, likewise. And when you are providing this estimation is based on how much effort you required as well as how much time you require. So based on this, you are showing the card, like if I required 2 hours to complete this particular functionality and smaller efforts. So maybe I am providing card number 2. If I required lots of effort, because there are dependencies, there needs some sort of communications also with product owner, maybe with other team members, and I have to complete the functionality and I need more than 8 hours to complete that particular functionality. So maybe in this area I may show the card which showing me the number 8. By this way, guys, you can estimate using planning poker. And now where exactly this particular functionality, this particular technique is used? So I am going to tell you guys. This particular technique is used to provide a estimation technique to provide more information on estimation technique to team members and get them aware that how they have to estimate in a grooming section, and how they have to identify how much work they have to do. So in this area you are providing them a planning poker section or planning poker estimation. Now 3-point method. So what exactly this 3-point method is? So basically, guys, this is basically a triangle, and this triangle have three corners. Each corner have a meaning. Like first corner have a meaning is most likely estimated, second corner is optimistic estimate, and third corner is pessimistic estimations. Now how to use it? So basically, guys, when we are running this estimation technique, 3-point method is technique, at that time 3-point estimation is a technique that factors in the base case scenario worst case scenario, and most likely scenario. So these three scenarios we are considered while we are estimating, and based on these scenarios we are estimating our work. Now how to do it, or how it will work, so we will see in this technique. Focus a conversation early on about likely blockers. Say for example, I am a product owner, provided the detail about the requirements. Same time team members identified where exactly this requirement will block when we start our work. Maybe due to dependencies, maybe due to technology, maybe unawareness of working flow. So this may be a reason of blocker. So they identified the blocker, and based on this blocker they come on negativity first, and they required solution. So they discuss these things in a grooming meetings. Same time that we are analyzing these blockers, and we have to resolve these blockers, otherwise we can't move with this requirement. And this is the reason we run this particular estimation technique, where if there are blockers then we may consider it's a worst case. If there are no blockers, then we may consider it as a best case scenario. And third scenario, most likely scenario, is a common scenario between both of them. So it's an average, like there are few blockers, we can manage it, but this story is easy and we can work on it. So this is the method, guys. And once we got all the result and all the information about that, those particular blockers we identified, then team members provide their estimations, how much time and how much work effort they have to put on that particular requirement, and when that particular requirement will complete. So by this way we can complete our 3 points estimations. Now um, now next is affinity situation. So affinity situations means swipe left or swipe right. So which things we swipe left or swipe right. So we may consider as swipe left or swipe right is if the stories are smaller and very easy, then we consider it as a left side. And if the stories are bigger, major, where we required more efforts, then maybe we consider those stories at right side. Now the smaller things or easier thing we can address very easily. We can point out these things or these stories you may apply in your sprint to gain more and more weightage, or to gain more and more estimations, so that when you are providing the result in front of management and in front of client, at that time using this few smaller stories points, you can get more weightage. Say for example, uh, I'm giving two example. First example is where my team has done only two stories, and the count of story point or the count of velocity is 20 story points. Now, in other example, my team has done 6 to 7 stories, where the count of velocity is near about 40 or near about 42. Now, time is same, team is same, work efforts are almost same. Then why this difference is? Because in first example, my team has chosen a bigger size stories, or a stories which are very hard, and where they required more and more efforts, more and more times. These stories are very tricky, so that's the reason they chosen only two stories which are completed. And the weightage of every story is almost 8 to 10 story points, or 8 to 10 velocity. And this is the reason the entire velocity of that particular sprint is only 20. Now in second sprint, they took few harder story and few easy stories also. So out of 6 stories, maybe 3 stories are hard story or bigger story, and 3 stories are very small stories or very easy stories. So they consider story point for easy stories maybe 3 or 5, and for hard stories they may consider the story pointing as 8 or maybe 5. And by this way they can balance it with easy story and hard story. They can balance the count of velocity, and in the final they provided that we done almost 5 to 6 stories in our last sprint, which weightage or which velocity is goes near about 40 to 42 story points. So by this way you can showcase your work with your hard work and your courageous also. So this is a affinity estimation technique, guys, where you can swipe your stories in left or right side based on their size, based on their efforts, based on how much time you required, based on what kind of work you need to do. Okay, now fifth point we will move. So fifth point is relative mass evaluation. So in relative mass evaluation, which we call as RME, and this is basically to generate estimate based on holistic view of stories under consideration. So when I'm considering any particular story in a holistical view, at that time I have to verify where exactly that particular story is fitted. uh, this is something like a story pointing section or something like a t-shirt sizing, where I am saying where exactly this particular story is fitted. Say for example, if my story is bigger, I haven't break it down yet, my story is too big, I need more than one person to work on that particular story, but still I think that particular story will not finish within one sprint. Maybe that particular story required uh, 1 or 2 more sprint to finish it. So this kind of story I may says that fitted in a 60 story points or maybe 40 story points, because more than one person is working, more than one sprint is required, the story is too big, and my team members will do their work continuously on that particular story, because that story is first is very hard, required more efforts, required more sharpness, uh, required more easy way to complete it. If everything goes smoothly, then maybe we will complete it within 2 sprint. If everything not goes well, if we face any blocker or any risk, then maybe we appear with this story in third sprint also. So depend upon situation, guys. So by this way relative mass evaluation we are considered if we do not want to break a particular story. If your management is agree, if your client is agree for this, that you can continue your work and you can finish your work in one go and then provide us the demo, if they says like this, then you can continue your work on that particular story in same fashion without breaking. And by this way you can provide the estimations. But here one thing, guys, if you have started your work in first sprint and if you completed it in a third sprint, then maybe whatever weightage you had given for that particular story, you can consider it in third sprint calculation, not in first and second sprint calculation, because the story is continuously going forward. It's continually moving from one sprint to another sprint, another sprint to another sprint. So when it completed, at that time only you can say yes, I had completed a bigger story which are continuing from first sprint and completed in third sprint, and the weightage of this particular story is 30 story point. So I am considering this 30 story point in the calculation of third sprint rest of stories. Okay. Now sixth point is dot voting. If you see my screen, so Scrum Master has already provided the product backlog to team members, and after reading that particular product backlog based on the higher priority or urgent priority, team members have to vote on which story they want more and more discussion or more and more details. So every team member going to vote on that particular story. So there are some sort of cheats which I stick on a board with story name, and every person goes to that board and provide their votings. So if I have 10 team members and if 7 votes goes on a particular story, then product owner will provide the entire detailed description about that particular story in a grooming meeting. Rest of the stories we will consider later on. And when this situation arises, when client says that you have 2 quarters time to finish your urgent work which we provided you, and in urgent section we have only 10 stories, so we have good enough time to finish that particular stories, and this is now our choice. We have to choose within urgent priority stories which story we have to complete first. So at this time we are providing this dot voting situation to our team members, where team members can provide the voting, and based on their voting, whichever story card or ticket gather more voting, we product owner will provide more details on that particular stories. Okay guys, now we will move in next section. So maximum allowable size. Now based on our estimations or based on our capacity, we have to analyze how much size of stories we can allow, we may allow in our sprint. So in yesterday's session I provided you how to calculate our team estimations or team capacity. In that I provided you that 52 hours per person if applied in an entire 2 week sprint, then I have to provide only 52 hours job to that particular team members. And if any one of my story is not fitted, if required more than 52 hours, then maybe I have to break it down in a 2 pieces, and then I have to provide it to team members, or I have to push it into the next sprint. So this is basically a idea of maximum allowable size, where max size, above max size and below max size is available. So below max size stories we will consider in our sprints, and we have to go with those stories. If some stories are more than max size, then we have to break it down in a smaller pieces and break it down till it comes in a below max size. And once it comes in below max size, then we consider those particular stories cards for our sprint, so that one person in an entire sprint, if I provided that particular story, then that one person may complete that particular story in a entire sprint and provide me the result. If that person will work only one story, still fine, but that person can complete that particular story within that sprint. So this is called maximum allow. This is called basically allowing max size stories. Okay. Now big, uncertain and small. So this is similar to max size guys. We know which story is big, which we know which story is small, but what exactly uncertain. So after getting the information from product owner, if team member says we don't know how to estimate these particular stories because there are a lot many things are available under these stories, we don't know how much time we require to complete it, and we have some identified risk, but there are some unidentified risk also, because some of area of production which we don't know where the story will fitted. So this is the reason we are unable to provide any estimation. In this case, guys, we consider that particular story in uncertain condition. Now, when we are considering this story in uncertain condition, we have to ask the question, cross question to team members, why team members are not able to judge it. Is this story small or is this story big? Where exactly team members have a confusions? What kind of questions or queries team members have, which answers product owner haven't provided while discussing that particular stories. Now, one by one questions appear in a grooming session, in a grooming meeting. Either product owner resolve those questions if those questions are business related, or technical architect should resolve those particular questions if those questions are technical related. Once those all questions are done, then team come on a certain level or on a certain area where team member can consider where that particular story is fitted. Is it fitted in a big size or is it fitted in a small size? If it is fitted in a big size, then do we need to break it down in a smaller pieces? If we have to break it down in a smaller pieces, in each and every piece, which area should we consider and how we are going to complete that particular area? We have to discuss it in same grooming meeting. Based on this discussion, if the story is big, we have to break it down in a smaller pieces. If the story is small, then we have to identify a resource who can complete that particular story and provide that resource, that particular story in that particular sprint. So by this way, guys, we may consider big, uncertain or small estimation techniques. Now, okay, story pointing. So story pointing is again one of a estimation technique, guys. And when we use this story pointing, so story pointing we use based on two conditions. First condition, how much effort do I need to put in that particular story while working? And second, how much time we require to complete that particular story. Here, third point is optional. If more than one person is working on same story, then how much time those both the person or those many person required to complete that particular story. So based on this, story points are considered. Again, this is same as t-shirt sizing. Like if I want to just change the label, then maybe I am considering one story point. If I want to change the entire functionality where I need a complete day, full day, 8 hours, then maybe I am considering three story points. If I require two person on particular story and these two persons require 8 hours to complete that particular card, then maybe I'm considering 8 story points. It's just based on the communication between grooming section, guys, and this communication goes between product owner and team members. They have to decide how many story points they will provide in which situation. Based on, once this is finalized, then you have to start discussing on stories and cards. And once the discussion is over, uh, team members can provide the story points based on the previous discussion baseline, where exactly they have to provide how many story point in which level or in which area. So by this way, guys, you can suggest the story points to your particular requirement after discussion in a grooming section. Velocity. So guys, velocity is a calculation of story point. I'm giving a simple example here. uh, in my first sprint, I have 10 members and my 10 members consider 5 stories to complete. I have 2 week sprint. Now within these 2 week, we completed only 3 story point, only 3 stories. Fourth story is partially completed, or in other language it's in progress, currently not completed, and fifth story is not even started. So at the end of sprint, when I am going to calculate how much work is done, which I have to showcase in a unit, in front of my management or in front of my client at that time, what should I provide them? So if for every story, if I consider 8 stories and I had completed only 3 story in my first sprint, then maybe my story points for that particular sprint is 24. The calculation of 8 into 3, because 3 stories are fully completed. The 4 story which are partially completed, we will not consider it in a calculation. Now in a second sprint, I consider that partially completed story with one more story which are not started in my first sprint. So I consider those both stories with 2 new story. And here I completed all my 4 stories. Each and every story have 8 story points. So the count of my sprint is 32 story points. But guys, when I'm coming in terms of velocity, now what is velocity? So velocity means weightage comparing with previous sprint. So when I'm coming the weightage in terms of velocity, at that time my first sprint velocity is 24, because before first sprint there is nothing in agile. Now in after completing my second sprint, I have a velocity of first sprint also. So what I will do, so I will calculate it like the weightage of first sprint story point plus the weightage of second sprint story point divided by 2. Now once I completed my third sprint, I will calculate the average of all three sprint, like first sprint story point plus second sprint story point plus third sprint story point. So first sprint story points may be 24, second sprint story point may be 32, and third sprint story point may be 40. So the average of these all three sprint is 32. So my velocity for third sprint is 32. My velocity for second sprint may be below 32, and velocity of first sprint is 24, because I do not have option to make it average for first sprint. So this is the reason the story points whatever earn in first sprint, that will be called as a velocity for that particular story, for that particular sprint. Now guys, it's not necessary that in each and every sprint you have to grow the velocity. It's not necessary. Agile never force this. Many project manager or program manager says this, that you have to grow with the velocity, but this is not true guys. If I had considered only two stories which are too big and too complex, and the story points of each story is only 8, then maybe the velocity of that particular sprint is 16, and maybe I collect smaller stories which are very easy, and likewise I completed 20 stories in my particular sprint, so maybe the velocity goes 40. So this doesn't make sense. It only shows how much difficult work you done and how much work you done in your particular sprint. So velocity or estimation unit just provided to showcase that you had delivered something, and whatever you delivered, at what weightage of work you delivered. Based on that weightage, you can provide the additional information that what kind of work you done. Like it's a difficult work, it's a easy work, it's a some sort of tricky work, or it's a work which are blocked in previous few sprint, and now I just cleared all the blockages from my last previous sprints. So likewise, now predictability is just like a same guys, like low here are some permutations combinations in predictability. When you are considering as in a velocity point of view or as in a predictability point of view in a sprint, at that time you can find out very easily after 2-3 sprint that whatever I am delivering, that is low accuracy and low precious, or that is low accuracy or high precious, or high accuracy with low precious, or high accuracy with high precious. So likewise guys, you can provide the predictability whatever work you provided, and based on this calculation, if you provide your velocity, your management can easily understand what kind of work is done in your last sprint. If you go with the chart or if you go with the report, then the reports are look like this simple burn down chart which you can pull in the middle of sprint or at the end of sprint also. If this is basically a baseline, this rate is a baseline. If you go at right side, then you are off track or you are um off time working. If it goes at left side, then you are doing your work before time. So this work is done before time, this work is done after time. So the timeline is here, but this work is done at this time, means this work little late completed, and this work is completed before time. So by this way guys, you can pull your burn down chart or burn up chart from your tools. uh, as per my experience, your work line and your expected this straight line never match. As per my experience in last 12 years, this line never match with any team members guys, so just don't worry about it. This is burn up and burn down chart. Burn down chart will provide how much work is done. Burn up chart provided the result how much work is remain and where exactly we are in a sprint or at the end of sprint. Now this is an example of velocity per sprint. So maybe in first sprint I gain much job because I done my work on very good and simple uh, stories, and maybe later on I work on some sort of hard work or some sort of hard stories. So whatever is completed display in a green line, and whatever is committed is display in a gray line. If you see here in a gray, by this way guys, you can showcase your work. Okay, so here are estimation techniques which I discuss. If anyone have any query, any question, can ask me.
Hello, Mr. My question is, you just mentioned that today and yesterday as well, that when the grooming session is over,
Mhm.
or under the grooming session, developers just nominated to pick the task.
Yeah.
So my question is, in that case, why make sense to make everyone guessing how much effort or how many story points you'll get
Okay.
for a task?
Okay. So why we need to get a estimation from entire team members? So I'm answering this question. This is a very good question. If I am one of a team member out of 10 team members in my sprint, and if I am nominating myself for particular card or for a particular requirement, that I will fulfill this requirement, I will complete this requirement in this particular sprint. But when I'm saying this, at that time I should know what I have to do with this particular requirement. Maybe my thought is this requirement is too crazy, too hard, and I need to do lots of work on this area. But when same thought I'm communicating and I'm openly saying in a grooming session with all team members, at that time rest of the team members same time provide me the solution that whatever you are thinking is wrong. Because if you go with this 1 2 3 steps, maybe your work will goes very easy, and within a lesser time you can complete this work. If you are nominating yourself for this particular requirement, at that time I get the idea that yes, I miss these few things to consider while listening this particular requirement. Now if I'm considering these few things also, maybe my job will goes very easy and I can complete this work. By this way I can re-estimate my work. I'm providing my nomination and maybe I'm re-estimating my work. Maybe this time I am providing less time or max time for my requirements or for the work which I am doing, because I got the answer of all question, as well as I know those situations also which I was not identified while considering this particular requirement. So this is the reason we are openly discuss this requirement with team members, and we are asking them to provide their estimations from their side, so that if somebody has provided larger estimate or if somebody has provided smaller estimate, what exactly their thinking is, and are that thinking matching with the particular requirement, are they missing something. So we just have to find out those loopholes, and once we find out all the loopholes, then the person who required or the person who thinks that this is my kind of tea, so that person can nominate it, and that person provided their estimations.
Okay, thank you.
Any other queries, any other question, guys? Anyone? Okay, I am asking my question in a different way. Are you guys understand the estimations topic clearly?
Yeah, I think so.
uh, Rest of the attendees, please.
Yeah, it is clear. Everything.
Yeah, it was well understandable. Thank you.
Okay, if you are really have any queries, any questions, you can write to me. No issue, I'll answer those queries and questions. Because I am recording this entire session, this session will available on YamTube. So if you want to recall something, or if you haven't understand something, you can just revisit this session on YamTube, and whatever question you have, you can write those all questions to me, and I'll answer those all questions. Is it fine with you guys?
Thank you.
Yeah. So we are running out of time, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Tomorrow we will know prioritization, how to prioritize our work, and on which level, what basis we have to prioritize it. So we will see these things tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining my session, and have a nice day, guys.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Sam. Bye-bye.
Bye.